Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Phillies wildcard series begins Tuesday night at home against the Miami Marlins. Can the Fightins take care of the unusually troublesome division rival to secure their place in the next round? The Eagles eke out a close win in overtime against the Washington Commanders thanks to another clutch field goal from Jake Elliott. With the Birds off to a 4-0 start, is the team as good as their record indicates, or does the eye test suggest otherwise? They travel to Los Angeles for a Week 5 matchup against the Rams. The Flyers pick up a preseason win versus the Bruins Monday night as the opening night roster comes into shape. The Sixers lose out on trade target Jrue Holiday as the veteran guard is dealt to the hated Boston Celtics, putting the final touch on a truly dreadful offseason. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Nice and warm out today. Feeling honestly on top of the world right now. Eagles are still undefeated. They snuck out a close win. Phillies are starting their postseason run this week. Besides recording on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday, it feels very much like deja vu.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. My rhythm is all thrown off. Had to go into the building for work today. We're recording on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. We're recording at 6:30. We typically record around 8:30. Got to get this episode in before NL Wildcard Series Game 1. A little nervous, not going to lie. But, hey, man, it's good to be back in the playoffs 2 years in a row after missing them for over a decade.
Yeah.
10 years or whatever.
And I think we'll be all right, but I am a little nervous. But other than that, life's good. Got to get the emotional support alligator ready. Console
man.
me.
Shout out to our man.
Help me out and get me through
Emotional
this.
support alligator.
Yo, so what was y'all's take on that? About the emotional support
dude,
alligator?
let him in, man.
I'm into it.
Let him in.
If they were able to get cats and all that shit in there, I feel like an alligator at that size of an alligator too is pretty controllable.
I mean, it's probably, I feel like there's also a lot less people that are allergic to alligators than there are
That's
allergic
true.
to cat and dogs. And, you got, dogs, you got, whenever, if you work at a bar or some shit or a restaurant and they tell you that they got that card, it's like, oh, can't do it, can't ask questions, can't do anything, you gotta let them in. But
The only tricky part would just be
do
him
with some
getting
scales, now it's like, oh, they can decide not to? Well, come on, that's bullshit.
It would only be hard if people stomping on him because he is kind of low to the ground.
Yeah, he's flat.
That's the only hard part. You got a sold out crowd and you got an alligator that's only 6 inches tall.
Yeah, I guess the problem is how do you, where exactly are you putting them when you're sitting down in the stands? You just got to. I mean, if
You're buying a chair for him?
Yeah, you might have to get him a seat because you can't just have it on the ground next to you because it's too long.
He
They're
can't
gonna
see the
take
game.
Yeah, people are going to stomp on him.
He won't be able to watch the game that way. He's too low. He wants to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the other problem is too, right? Where do they go to the bathroom? How do alligators go to the bathroom? Like a dog.
I think it's like a goose.
What's that mean?
It's all just a little wet log.
But it's got to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Where?
I think they just go wherever they want.
Well, I guess, what do they do with Bark in the Park or Catter Day? Where do they go?
It's that T-ball
You don't
field.
Do they have litter boxes at the stadium for Catter Day?
They put them all in that in the wiffle ball park.
They get some fertilizer.
Yeah. I don't know. That is, I don't know what to do when there's a bunch of dogs there. You got to figure there's going to be dogs just pissing in the stands and
Right.
I don't know. Unless they're, I don't know. I guess you figure you take them out before the game.
You can handle a couple hundred dogs and cats. I feel like you can navigate one alligator shitting or pissing everywhere.
Just one alligator.
I guess that's fair.
That's the least of your worries, just in case.
I know, that would be
snapping.
funny. It's they're finally okay, we've given it some thought, and we don't think it really poses that much of a safety risk. This is a very well-behaved, domesticated alligator. They finally let it in, and it just starts pissing and shitting everywhere. It's God damn it.
Non-stop pee and poop.
The one thing you didn't know about alligators is that they just piss and shit like crazy.
He could probably suck down some dogs though for $1 dog nut.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he was throwing them in there yeah. I think the alligator probably could have broken my record for sure.
Oh, easy money.
Yeah. The alligator could break all three of our records combined. And Pat, you ain't
he would.
contributing
That's
much,
not even
dude.
worth it.
That's
for me.
2 hot dogs.
Yeah,
that ain't nothing.
But you figure if the Eagles can if a fan could bring in a parrot week 1, the first home game that they had we should obviously let it
Someone
loose.
had a parrot. I missed that.
A whole big old cockatoo, the ones with the little white top feathers and all that.
Well, that kind of works a little better. The Eagles are a bird.
Yeah, but they be letting
parrot's
them
a
eagles
bird.
through. God forbid that eagle just eyes them up, and doof, that would be something to see right there if it just took it out. They did it again this week. Another eagle.
What, for real?
Yeah, they let him out. Did the whole thing for the national anthem.
So they don't just save it for the home opener? That's a every week thing now?
I don't know. They said we're getting a flyover, and then that was it. So I was like, I mean, this isn't a technically, I guess it's a flyover, but it's not like a jet, it's just a bird, which is cool. It actually flew over us this time, which is neat.
Well,
but
to be fair, we talked about the missing jet a couple pods ago.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
we gotta tighten the budget a little bit. We can't afford all those flyovers every game.
God,
Just gonna have to settle for the eagle.
I'm cool with that. But yeah, I mean, back to this alligator thing, man. So, an emotional support alligator, what do you think is emotionally comforting about hugging something with scales?
If you had a cold mom or like a cold day, you know what I mean? People can be cold to people, you know what I mean? Like, oh, mom, I got a 100 on my test. They're like, I don't care. They're just like, you know what I mean? Maybe the alligators for that because you feel.
I guess it's probably still warm.
Or
right?
you miss. No, they're cold-blooded.
But they probably give off some sort of body
I don't think
heat.
that means literally cold, right?
I think they're cold. Isn't that what
They
that
got to
means?
give off some sort of body heat, though,
What
I'm
does
sure.
cold blood actually mean?
I think they're just
I
cold.
don't think it means that the blood's.
I don't think they
it's
run
literally-
hot. I bet you they run cold.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
What
But
is
I
an
also would think
alligator's
that
body
maybe the guy was
temperature?
born in like the bayou and like it's the homebody thing. Like he misses being down home with all the gators, so it's his emotional support, like a little blanket is when you're a kid.
Yeah, like a little piece of home.
Yeah, but your piece of home is a 4-foot alligator.
Average body temperature for alligator.
Calling it right now. It's got to be chilly.
Not all ages for alligators.
Like a. I don't think this thing's full grown. No, or unless it's like a dwarf gator.
82 to 92 degrees Fahrenheit.
What?
So,
What?
certainly cooler than us, and it's probably noticeable, but it gives off some body heat. So I guess maybe they're comforting in so that they provide some sort of body heat. But all them scales and spikes, man, God forbid, like, it hits you with that claw too hard, man.
That tail. They've got that.
For that tail.
Whip around.
Yeah, not for me, man. Not for me. I might have an emotional support pig, an
Ooh.
emotional support horse,
Hell yeah. Well,
not an alligator.
like a
Do you think
miniature
they'd like to
pony.
bring a horse into CDP?
Maybe like
Probably not.
one of them. Like
You really can't control the bowels on a horse.
Nah, they just be pooping everywhere.
Yeah.
At least they're used to horses though down there in the parking lot, so it's
That's
not
true.
like you just leave that go. I would get like a emotional support, like a Shetland pony with them little guys. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be all right. What about a chicken?
Hmm.
Nah, I don't think they're very comforting.
Nah, maybe like one of those chickens used for like cockfighting because at least they have like
They're mean.
cool hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
right.
then
That's not comforting.
Well, it's
That's
like having
brutality.
all right. Well, I went more toward like
It's
a
like I
like
want
a
one of those-
watchdog.
Well, one of those emotional support chickens where they put like razor blades attached to their claws and shit. Like those are the friendly ones.
You know, everyone's emotional support is different. Damn, thought it was a judgment-free zone. I kid.
Well, I guess tell you what, if the Phillies lose, everyone in Philly's gonna need their emotional support animal, whatever it is. I might just go buy a horse. Shit.
You
but-
might, yeah.
Hopefully they win. Do we want to get into it? Start talking some Phillies
Yeah,
baseball.
might as well. The topic of the day.
So I think we all kind of unanimously agree that the Marlins were our least favorite opportunity of teams to play
Yeah.
in this wild card round, and
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know.
I
I'm
think
not
we
really scared of the whole like weirdness about them. I don't know. Like I still think that like the Diamondbacks would have been a much better team. But yeah, I don't know. I guess our games against the Marlins are always just kind of weird.
I guess I wouldn't say fear, but I felt better playing the Diamondbacks. I just feel like with our history with the Marlins, it's not like the Sixers playing Boston, where at least Boston is typically really good. The Marlins aren't that good, but it's just something about playing a team that you know you should beat.
They're very scrappy.
And it just, the only upside, though, is that they're down 2 of their aces, or at least one ace and then another starter, so that'll help from their bullpen area. So if our bats can kind of get into it, we'll be good to go. But, it's playoffs, baby. It's CBP. Anything can happen. At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really matter who they play if the Phillies have that mentality of we're going to get through this round and focus on the Braves. I mean, even John Clark was like, well, Atlanta and there's all this. They're the hottest team right now. It's like, we got to get through Tuesday, Wednesday first before we look to that. But
Right.
They're definitely gonna be a tough opponent.
Yeah, I think we kind of all came to the agreement that it doesn't truly matter who the Phillies play, because if the Phillies are on their P's and Q's, if they're at home, the fans are rallying behind them, they can beat any team. We saw them beat Houston last year in the World Series, hitting 5 dingers in a World Series game. It's toasty out there. It's going to be toasty out there the next 3 days.
Balls are going to be flying.
I think those dingers are going to be flying, dude. The one concern I do have is that the Marlins are starting 2 lefties, and I think their top 3 or 4 bullpen guys are all lefties.
Yeah, they have a lot of lefties.
We know that we got Harper, Schwarber, Stott. Who am I forgetting? Marsh. Yeah, Marsh. Yeah, we got 4 big bats that are lefties in our lineup. JT at home, for whatever reason, just can't get it together. So I'm a little concerned that their lefties could kind of neutralize us, but I think it really puts the onus on Trey Turner, Castellanos, Trevor's boy, Rojas. These right-handed bats are going to have to step up and really make these guys pay, because, yeah, I'm not feeling too great having to face a bunch of lefties.
And they're coming in somewhat hot. I mean, they were 33-13 in their last couple games. That last
in
stretch.
one-run games. They were 33-13 in one-run games,
so,
which is weird.
And we don't play well, and I mean, we're not the best extra inning team, but I just feel like we really need to get a good jump on these guys, because we have, as opposed to the last postseason when we had this magical run where expectations were high at the beginning of the year, but then we kind of slid in and had that underdog mentality. I feel like we carried the weight of expectations this season, and the Marlins, they're just playing with house. Like, it doesn't really, I'm sure as a fan, you'd be hoping that they win, but just looking at it, we should be the ones coming out on top. So it's always more fun when you're playing from the other side, where you can every win is that much more meaningful from the Marlins perspective.
Yeah, you can make the argument that they're really not too different from the Phillies last year.
No.
Snuck in as like the last wild card. No one really expected them to be there. People expected us to be there given our payroll last year. The Cubs, though,
dropped like a bag of bricks. That was nuts.
Yeah, the Cubs really dropped the ball there. But, yeah, the Marlins come in riding some sort of momentum. I don't know how much momentum. And, again, I don't know when they see CBP.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are used to playing in front of, like, 10,000 fans max.
And 5 of that 1,000 is the other team usually.
Yeah, 5 of that 1,000 is our fans. Now they're going to be playing in front of 45,000 fans. It's hot. People have been liquored up, drinking in the parking lot. Them beers, them shots been going down easy.
Riding that high from the Eagles win. I mean, like I said, the city is, even walking over here today, it just seemed like a little bit of a buzz going down. You hear the helicopters in the air. Everyone's trying to catch a glimpse of what's going down. It's exciting time to be at CBP in October.
Yeah.
I think it has to be a statement game, though. You can't be sneaking out with I don't want to see a close game one. The players have been gassing this up all year about we just want to get to the postseason in Philly and have that home place rocket. Well, I don't want to see you guys come out here and squeak out.
You
better come out here then and start barreling that ball, and let's see some dingers out here today. It's going to be hot, muggy. The balls will be flying. Everybody hits.
Woohoo!
So, come on now. And hopefully Wheeler is rested up, can pitch a really good game.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing is we were able to get our rotation some rest.
Yeah.
This whole stretch coming down the last month of the season, we were all saying, yeah, let's clinch a little early, get these guys some much-needed rest. We were able to do that. Nola's going to be pitching on, 6 or 7 days rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Wheeler's kind of on his regular turn, but he prefers that. If we get to a game 3, whoever it is, I don't think we know yet.
Yeah.
But they'll have at least gotten regular rest, if not a little bit more. And then the bullpen. Yep. A lot of these guys have gotten to get a little rest, too. They weren't really used in these last few games because there wasn't really a whole lot of high leverage.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's worth something. Hopefully Craig Kimbrell, if he does pitch, doesn't allow a guy to walk and just instantly end up on third because it's 2 stolen bases.
Well, hopefully we'll see, like you said, that too with the crowd rocking to the Marlins' disadvantage. It's a boost and a morale boost as as you get down the game, the bullpen guys, you hear that, once it's 2 outs and nobody on, hopefully they get more jazzed up that way to pitch a little bit better. Kimbrell's used to a bigger environment that way too, earlier in his career, but hopefully he hits lightning and gets some juice going because he was phenomenal to start the season. There's a reason why he was an all-star, so just got to find that rhythm again. And the Phillies have a way of turning guys' seasons around that way, so if Kimbrell needs to get that kicked into gear by a big crowd today, I would love to see it.
Someone was pointing out that his Kimbrel's like splits. If you look at it from before and after, they introduced that like "Welcome to the Jungle" entrance thing.
Mhm.
He's been so much worse after, which like I mean obviously is just like I don't think there's anything to that, but I don't know. Maybe Amanda needs to get another song. Maybe
I mean, there's way better songs than "Welcome to the Jungle,"
yeah,
but
it's a little
it's
a little corny. The thing I do with the lights is pretty cool though. I'll say
yeah, that was
It's
sick.
a
I wasn't
cool little
expecting
thing.
that. When
Yeah.
they blacked out for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what like Lidge had something, but I don't think it was. I
I
forget
also
what
don't
it
think
was.
walk-up songs were as major like that before. I feel like recent years now it's gotten to be like people look for who's got the best song and all this shit. There's a whole Spotify playlist for that shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
There was like the Mets guy, but then he got season.
that shit was
injury.
fire. I like that. Fuego
Baseball
or whatever
classic.
it was.
Yeah.
That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was sick. If that was us, I'd be like, yeah, that's honestly the best one.
Yo, so did you guys see they're keeping the pitch clock?
They are?
Yeah.
Guess that makes
they
sense.
just decide for like. I mean, I kind of assume they would, but
Yeah, they're going to have. I read an article about it today. I forget what the official term is for these guys, but they're going to have the best people that manage or ran the pitch clock, the ones that had like the fewest violations and the fairest, kind of rotate throughout the postseason, kind of like they do with umpires or like they do with refs.
Well, they better
other
not have
sports.
Angel fucking Hernandez out there.
Yeah,
with all this postseason.
I would
don't
keep
think
him
so.
very far away from a postseason game, but
Bryce
they'll have
Harper.
actual pitch clock operators.
Cool, okay.
Aside from the umps that I guess have graded well by whatever metrics they grade these guys by, I was kind of hoping they just get rid of the pitch clock altogether, but I guess
if the
guys
players
have
are
been playing
used
with
to
it all year.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've played 100 and plus games, like, if you're used to it, I could see it fucking people up if they now go back on it, if you're expecting to be quick with it, we knew this was going to be a shit
yeah.
show.
It'd be funny if they just like threw all those new rules out for the playoffs. Like, oh, we're going back to the smaller bases.
Yeah,
Shifts
5
back
hour
on.
game.
Yeah.
Yo, are they still doing the ghost runner in extra innings?
I
They
don't-
don't have that in playoffs. Right?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
they,
that
they
rule's
did
dumb
that
as
before
hell.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the playoffs it's just normal extra innings, which is good.
Which could be in our favor because the Marlins are fastest. They're fast as shit too.
Yeah,
Some quick players.
and what was I listening to? I was listening to Shio Kapadia's podcast. He had Jack Fritz and James Seltzer from WIP on, and they reminded me, or like listening to this podcast reminded me, you remember that one game where Kimbrel intentionally balked
Yeah.
because the guys were just, he was tipping his pitches and the guys on second were giving signs to the guy at the plate. I don't want a man on second to start extra innings if Kimbrel's there pitching.
Yeah.
He's just going to balk the guy over. So now a wild pitch, a ground ball, anything scores him. So yeah, I could certainly do without that stupid ghost runner rule, please. I'm all for a 16-inning playoff game,
I don't
man.
remember them doing that. I
Give
don't
me
know
a
if we
reason to
saw-
stay up till 2 a.m.
I don't know if we saw
Fucking
any extra inning
Roy
games
Oswalt in left field.
last
that kinda
postseason. I
shit.
can't remember if they did that last year or not.
I don't think there were any like super long games, but they definitely didn't have the ghost runner. That was
Okay, cool.
not in the postseason.
Yeah, I think the game one of the World Series against Houston, I think it was in the 10th when JT hit that solo home run to right. I don't think,
Okay.
no
I
one was
wasn't-
on. It was a solo home
yeah.
run. Yeah.
Such a long postseason. The memory gets a little foggy, especially when you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of long postseasons, how y'all livers feeling?
Ready to roll.
I had to give mine a couple days, or I guess a day. I gave mine yesterday off.
I'm coming off a good Sunday. Sweated most of it out. It was nice and hot then, but I'm feeling ready. I love it when the city's it changes colors like that. Where like during the week it's red, and on the weekend everyone's green because you're riding that high. Like if the Phillies win this first series coming into the weekend, and everyone's gonna be pumped out for the Birds to stay undefeated. Like it's a great time of year that way, rhythm wise, especially when both teams are playing honestly the best they've played since the early 2000s together at the same time, which is exciting to be around again.
Yeah. I didn't realize that assuming that we do make it past the wild card round, like the division round starts on like Saturday. I think it's like
That's soon.
Quick?
Yeah, it's like quick.
Oh, jeez. Damn. Well, I guess
Pretty sure someone can look it up to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's like
that
starts,
makes
like, over the
sense.
weekend.
You don't
I
you
think
don't need to delay it. The last game's Thursday.
Yeah.
It was pretty quick last time too. I mean, it was like, we had Thursday
Yeah.
night football and then a baseball game, and then it was Sunday football. And it was a lot. That's why it was hard to keep up with drinking, because it was like every day. It was like, oh my god, they
You're
keep
telling
going, they
me,
keep
huh?
going. Yeah.
Adios mio. Jeez, yeah, I ain't ready for all that, but I'll get ready in a few days, I suppose.
Yeah, let's get through this first wild card round. It's like the good temperature gauge here. But feeling good. I think they come up on top. I'm going to say score is going to be, I'd like to see 8-4.
That's game one. I mean, by the time a lot of people hear this, game two might be over.
Yeah.
Or at least
Well,
it might be between game one and game two. So what's your prediction for the series? I guess that's probably the thing to predict here.
2 games and done.
Okay.
They have to.
I think it's going 3. I think tonight we're going to win just like a fairly like normal game. Like I think it'll be like 5-2, something like that. Wheeler looks fine. Couple, driving a few runs. Tomorrow, I think Nola's going to be good.
Oh.
And it's going to be one of those frustrating games where he just can't score a run for him for whatever reason. And then like 7th inning or something, he like gives up a home run or something.
Mm-hmm.
And we end up losing like 2-1 or some crazy shit like that. And then Thursday, bats come alive, like 9-3 win.
Okay.
Put him away.
I like that.
Crush him on Thursday.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's how it
So
goes.
for game one, I got us winning. I think Wheeler comes out and shoves. I think we win 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple dingers. I think Nick Castellanos gets a dinger. He's the big right-handed bat in the lineup. They got
Yep.
all these lefties.
Yep.
He hits a 2-run home run. JT gets off the schneid against his former team. Comes up with a big RBI double. Don't know how we score the other 3 runs, but we win 6-1 behind Wheeler. I think Nola's going to shit the bed tomorrow, personally.
It's not
I hate to put that in,
It's not a
like,
bad bet.
that bad energy out there, but...
He has looked good lately.
He has played. He's been playing how you predicted, where he starts off hot, and the bats don't want to play. Like it hasn't worked out that way yet. Where he like has played very well for 6 or 7 innings, and the bats have also given support. He has been playing his last couple starts where he has been doing very well, and then you're relying on bullpen at the end of the game or someone to do something magical at the end.
Well, here's what I'm going to say is I think Nola is shaky early. This could go one of 2 ways. It could go the Trey Turner way where the fans support him and coach him through it. He gets through it. Or it gets tense. Everyone's butthole gets a little tight.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to pass and stow, ripping shots. Everyone's getting anxious. And Nola just collapses and we lose.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is going to happen is the former. We saw it with Trey Turner, where we had his back. We coached him through it. He got it. So I think Nola's shaky, gives up 4 runs. The offense comes alive. Like I said, dingers are still going to be flying. It's going to be 85 tomorrow.
Yep.
We rally and win 8-5. We sweep them.
All right, we're on the same boat that way. I think they're both very.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope they win too. I don't want it to go through.
No, but
Yeah.
that would be a logical. It's what the Phillies have been doing this season, right? Where like, Nola's been frustrating that way, and I could see that. And it's the Marlins, so I could see that making sense. I'm not turned off by any expectations of that at all. It's just what we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Nola hasn't given us the confidence to be like, oh, hell yeah, we got Wheeler and Nola against the Marlins. We should be like, yeah, it's easy money, but this isn't Cole Hamels and Roy Holiday. Like, we got, Nola hasn't been on his P's and Q's yet, but hopefully he proves us wrong. I would love to see that. He said that back in August. We're just trying to get to October. So prove what you said right a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think the one thing he has going for him, and this is why I could be wrong, this is what I was saying before, is he's had, 6 or 7 days of rest. Mm-hmm. Him with extra rest is usually money.
Yeah.
So in that sense, he could come out and deal, but the ball's going to be flying out of the ballpark for them tomorrow too. So
especially with the rest, his last couple of games, his velocity, and we saw it all season. His velocity quite wasn't there, but you're 200 plus outs to get in a season. I mean, the guy's got gas when he wants to, but yeah, I think you hit it on the head right there.
Yeah, so I guess we all feel as though the Phillies are going to win.
Cautiously optimistic.
Just a matter of if it's in 2 games or 3 games. That third game, man, a Thursday night game, Thursday.
Place will be rocking.
If it's tight like that,
you're going to see some fights. You're going to see it get ugly down there. If it's 1-1 and your wild card and the Phillies are down bad by like the 5th, 6th inning, it's going to get...
It'll feel like it's over before it even started. I don't want that. But whatever, man. I think I said before, Nola kind of reminds me of 09 Hamels. Hopefully he rises above that.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know how 09 Hamels went crying at the end of the playoffs. Like, I just want this season to end, bitch.
Yeah, that was rough. I think that, Nola's been I don't know. I think he's shown a little more signs of life than '09 Hamels. Like,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, '09
Hamels
was
just
grotesque.
like that was just a nightmare all season. And like,
Sad.
yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like I have been encouraged lately by like Nola's past 2-3 starts. And he did show up in the playoffs last year.
He ran out of gas towards the end, but the
Yeah.
first couple starts he was very good.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. That do it with the
This about does it
Phils.
for the Phils. We can touch on the Birds then.
Yeah, do we
Or
want
do
to
whatever?
Do we want to touch on the Sixers shit and end with the Birds?
Yeah, we can finish strong with the Birds.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll have a Birds game this weekend, so yeah, we can touch on the Sixers here in the middle.
So Jrue Holiday is not a
Swing and a
Sixer.
miss. Yeah.
Nope.
Hi,
Nope.
we had the whole trade package
Yep.
lined up, ready to
That
roll.
articulate plan we
we
laid
had it
out last week.
ready to send out to Portland, and it all crumbled right before our very eyes. I think the very next day. I think it was
Yeah,
that.
it didn't take
I think it was
long.
like that Thursday
Yeah, we
or
called
Friday.
it that Wednesday.
Yeah,
It happened. You know, it happened before the Eagles game. It happened Sunday.
Sunday. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's
yep.
right.
So
But-
there's that, and it could have gone to any other team, but no, it had to be a trade deal with Boston, which is even more of like a smack in the
just salt
face.
in the wound, yeah.
Like
What I will say is, yes, it does suck to lose out on Jrue Holiday to Boston. At the same time, man, their team, like up front, what'd they trade? They traded Robert Williams.
Marcus Smart,
Well, Marcus
gone.
Smart's gone, but yeah, he
he's
was in
part of
another
the
trade.
Porzingis trade.
Porzingis is in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but they traded Robert Williams, Brogdon, who always killed us, and a couple of first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
So if you think about it, if you want to look at this in any sort of positive light, their two big men right now are Al Horford, who's old as dirt. Like, he's one of the few NBA players still older than me. And, what do you call it? Kristaps Porzingis, who's always hurt.
Yeah,
And, like,
not reliable.
even though he's 7'3" and is 260 pounds or whatever, kind of plays like he's 6'2".
He also doesn't play.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't play. So what this does is it does kind of raise the Celtics ceiling, but it really lowers their floor, man. If anything happens to one of those two guys, that team's done.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
saying that the Sixers are in prime position to capitalize on that, but
Yeah, that's true. Then-
at the end of the day, it sucks because we could have had Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, and then of course, like the Bucks are
Well,
definitely better than
I
us
mean,
right now.
and because the Heat got pretty much picked apart in the offseason, they lost a lot of guys that way. And then you figure the Bucks just they're the clear favorites in the East. I mean, I don't see how anybody could not be compared to them.
A lot of like the NBA like beat writers and podcast guys are still saying the Celtics, but I think they're ignoring the fact that Horford's old as dirt and Porzingis is always injured.
And it
But-
depends on how these new guys play together. Like, yeah, everything always looks good on paper at the beginning of the year, but I mean, big threes don't always work out when that goes down that
Yeah,
way.
look
Like,
at Brooklyn a couple years
yeah,
ago.
maybe. I mean, not to say that the Bucks are going to be ass that way, but like you got at least two decent personalities there with Giannis and now Dame. Middleton's back there healthy again, so he doesn't affect that. But like they got to figure new head coach, so it's all
That's a good point.
it's a different. How does he use those guys? You got people that are going to want to run the thing, and Dame pretty much was a diva all offseason, so there's a potential for.
You sound like you think the Sixers are going to be the number one seed in the East.
At least top
Nah.
five. At least top. No, I'm kidding. I have no expectation for the Sixers, but I like that they kind of have a more scrappy feel to them this year, which they haven't had in a while. We've had all this expectation of be number one, get to the championship every year. Like I think this season we'd be happy if they just get to the playoffs. Honestly, after all this shit.
Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely be in the playoffs.
My
Yeah.
point though is that like
Just,
we do better as a
do still
Philadelphia
have
sports
Joel
team when
Embiid.
like there's no high expectation. They have a lot of young guys, new head coach as well. We'll see how it pans out. I'm okay with that. Boston's got everything now riding on this trade. The Bucks clearly are going all in. It feels okay. We picked up some solid role guys, and we'll see how that pans out.
I get what you mean. In a lot of ways, this kind of feels like it did a couple years ago. Yeah, let me get one. With the Ben Simmons situation when he was holding out, that team without Ben was still a really fun regular season team before
Yeah.
they traded for Harden.
Yeah.
And I think that we're kind of headed towards something like that again. I don't have any like dreams of this team making the NBA Finals,
Mm-mm.
but they'll tread water. They'll be an entertaining regular season team. mean, we've seen that for every year in the Joel Embiid era, so it's nothing new. But
and I mean, who knows? Maybe they do eventually get something decent back for Harden. I'm not counting on it, but
yeah.
I
mean, I guess we have to talk about his dumbass a little bit. So, didn't report to media day. Did not report to the first day of training camp. But apparently, I just saw this.
Yeah, they're saying he's going to show
He's
up.
in Colorado or just got a
he's
flight
gonna
to
show
Colorado.
up tomorrow.
Yeah.
What the hell do you think that is going to be like? You think he comes in a fat suit? You think he comes in a t-shirt that says Daryl Morey's a liar? You think...
I hope he comes up showing up looking like Tony Soprano.
You
just
think he
in
comes
a
in
robe,
hungover?
just fat.
Yeah, he's wearing
Slippers.
flip flops and a robe.
Flip flops, a robe, a plate of gabagool. He's like,
He's complaining about the orange juice.
He's drinking his red wine that he got in China and shit. Yeah.
You think he's found any strip clubs in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is several hours. I think it's 3 or 4 hours north of Denver.
So it's kind of out in the boonies.
Probably some, He
probably
some kind of strip club.
Found the blue. Yeah. Yo, what do you think a bluegrass strip club is like?
Nasty. Probably real gross.
Yo, some bluegrass is all right though. I like some bluegrass bands.
Bluegrass bands, fine, but bluegrass
strip club
in Colorado,
might be all right.
I don't know about that. I feel like you'd have to go down south to find some good ones. You can't be going up to Colorado. I don't know. I have a bad feeling about that. You probably got some weird hippie chicks with I don't know. It doesn't. I can't picture it looking good. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna get too into detail about it. I
don't know what a good I feel like all those places are pretty dark and miserable.
I feel like Dave Chappelle did a bit about that, where he's like, I feel like I've got myself in trouble before. I'm not going to say anything here, but I can't imagine it being, the best strip club after being.
Yeah, he's
Houston,
used to Atlanta,
Philadelphia.
Houston. Yeah.
Now you're going to some.
Well, that's why I was hopeful that we could have flipped something around for Portland, because Portland's supposed to be known for their strip clubs.
Nah.
Yeah,
for real?
Portland. Yeah.
I guess there's probably not a whole hell of a lot else to do in Portland.
Yeah,
you can go on a hike.
It's always gray though too. You get some kind of fun in there.
But
I'm expecting a shit show. I don't expect anything pleasant. I feel like Harden's gonna come in here with some weird energy. I mean, we'll touch on it in a little bit, but you got Jimmy Butler showing up, arguably the best show up.
Incredible.
So far,
2 years in a row
yeah.
he's done this, yeah.
But I expect Harden to do not anything like that, but something that's just weird.
See, man, I think he's going to show up. He's going to get on the mic. He's just going to be sour and kind of just a little bitch about it. That doesn't mean anyone's going to do anything. I don't think the players really care. All indications from the players are that James has his issue. We support him. We're here to play basketball. So I don't think he's going to become a distraction in that sense. If anything, I just think he's going to whine and pout and just... It'll be more of a distraction for everyone outside of the team than the players themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know what that translates to when it comes time to play actual games. I think it'll be him mailing it in like his last game with the Nets, that game against Sacramento, when he was literally just letting people run by him on defense. In which case, maybe they send him home. I don't know. I don't know what they can do in that situation. But tomorrow, or whenever he shows up to training camp, I don't really have expectations he does anything too outlandish. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to expect anything crazy. I think it'll just be, like you were saying, just half-assing everything and whatever.
And the weird thing is too, now with the rule of you can't not start two healthy starters. So if he is on the team, they got stars, and we have they fit. Between him and Embiid, they fit the criteria of multiple All-Stars and a couple of All NBA teams or whatever. That's where it's going to be weird of how that pans out. Where he'll be forced to play, I guess, or I feel like Nick Nurse has to prepare the team this whole offseason.
I feel like we should get an exception because it's look, no one's showing up to these games to watch James Harden. Let's be real.
Yeah, but true. I don't know what I'm not going to get fined as a team because this guy doesn't want to play. I'm going to have to do what I have to do that way, I guess. But
they'll start making up phantom injuries.
Yeah.
They might start making him up for Embiid.
That hamstring shit will pop up again.
This whole rule, teams are just going to find ways to circumvent it by saying, oh yeah, Joel Embiid's out with left toe soreness.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Kawhi came out too and said, like, I'm going to manage my own work. Like, I'm not. It doesn't matter what any rules are. Like, I'm going to play.
yeah, he's still going to lie and say, yeah, my left pinky is bruised, or I burnt my ear while I was blow drying my hair. I can't play.
They'll
You know what I'm
just,
saying?
they'll just start milking like the mental health stuff, and just be like, James
True.
Harden is feeling sad today.
Oh.
I mean, that worked for Ben Simmons for how long? For most of his holdout.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, to prep the team as if Harden's not going to be on this team at all, which I think is why they've been making some moves, I guess. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't replace a guy like James
I
Harden.
mean, they brought in Kelly
necessarily,
Oubre. They were like, yeah, James, we're bringing in the guy that is now married to the girl that cheated on you.
Damn.
Brutal.
Yo, Kelly Oubre is a good-looking man, dude.
He is a very
I've seen
attractive
pictures
person,
of him.
I'm not going to lie.
That's a handsome man, dude. I'm excited to. There are a few things I'm excited for. I'm excited for B-Ball Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You seen
Yeah,
B-Ball
he's had a
Paul
Bigger role
yesterday?
this year.
Yeah.
He walks up to the podium. He asks people how they're doing. They ask him how he's doing. He goes, "Estoy bien, estoy bien." He been working on his Spanish, man. He's a good dude. I'm excited for him. Maxey.
It's always fun seeing his smile back around.
Yeah. Yes, for all the like BS that we've dealt with and for how low my expectations are for this team, I'm excited to see some of these guys play and see how some of them have developed. I don't expect Nick Nurse to make a huge difference just given the hand of cards he's been dealt.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited to see what he can do. He does some weird things, some cool things schematically.
The vibe seemed good. I mean, it was fun seeing everybody at least look in good spirits showing up. You know?
Yeah.
Even Embiid looked like no one showed up like.
He came out in his Phillies beanie.
Yeah, no one
Yeah.
came out looking outwardly disappointed yet. You know, obviously could see that changing when Harden enters the chat, but at least everybody's.
Did you see like Maxey doing his like being like an interviewer or whatever?
Yeah.
Like he was like he was asking like Joel Embiid like what would if you could have like one like superpower, what would it be? And he's like I'd be invisible so I could rob banks. It's like, oh man.
Damn, dude. See, man, however all this ends with Embiid, this guy's still a treasure.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know he has not shown up in playoff games and certainly feels some type of way about that and wish he would be better in the playoffs. But the guy's still just hilarious. He's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of his career, he's kind of represented the city
Big
really
time.
well. Certainly the last couple playoff performances haven't, but outside of that, he's been iconic. And I'm glad that he's happy, at least for the time being. He's saying all the right things.
Yeah.
We'll see where things go as far as this season goes.
He's a treasured Philadelphia athlete for sure. I mean, he's up there. I would put him up there with AI and, you know, Chamberlain and all those guys too that, like, you know, were statement players. You know, Mike Schmidt, shit like that. Like, he's going to be a guy that is a Philly legend. No matter what happens after the season, you can't not love Embiid. Yeah, hasn't always worked out in our favor, but, you know, it's not the name of the game.
Look,
And he
man,
he does give you his all. We got to see him win an MVP finally, which was I love watching that video still with, you know, him getting emotional about it with the team around him, but would love to obviously get a ring with him, but
Yeah, I think the only thing that could really tarnish his legacy in Philadelphia is if he were to reveal a close friend's cancer diagnosis without their family's permission and post a Nazi apology on Twitter.
well, Kurt Schilling had already sullied his reputation long before this past weekend, but point taken.
they're like, well, that guy's got cancer, and then
Then he dies a couple days later.
that's some
God.
bad juju right there.
Yeah, Kurt
Mm-mm.
Schilling's an asshole, man.
Dude, yeah.
He's on the Wall of Fame?
Dude, yeah, this is
Yeah.
how bad. This is how crazy this got. Like, there was an article in like the Inquirer the other day of something like an opinion piece, something being like, "It's time for the Phillies to take down Kurt Schilling's Wall of Fame plaque and cut ties with the former
I've
A's."
seen this.
And like, and of course, like I'm just like a sicko, so I have to read the Twitter replies. So I'm like, I gotta see. And like, there's like, of course, a few people that are like, "Oh, the woke agenda, blah blah." But like, honestly, like most people were just like, "Yeah, no, for real. Like, this is a past due. They should like
Yeah.
even people that are like, yeah, I'm like not like a PC guy, but this is crazy." Like,
You roll
you know,
down, you see even
like,
Pete
like,
Rose
it-
commenting,
like,
you're like, what the fuck?
he's
Pete
barely got
Rose?
anyone in his corner anymore.
Revealing something like that and then like issuing a Nazi apology, that's not like a bipartisan, like, oh, this is a woke thing or, yeah, this is just some crazy right-wing thing. It's just like,
Yeah,
you
no,
don't
it's
do
just
that
like,
regardless
dude.
of where
No.
you stand on the political spectrum.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, Kurt Schilling, man, bad person. I highly doubt you're listening, but if you do, we do not appreciate you on this podcast.
Yeah. Joel Embiid, much better.
Yeah.
Much better guy.
And then
I'll say it.
If no one else is going to say it, I will say it.
speaking of good guys, we can talk about the one who truly got away, man, Jimmy Butler.
Oh, man.
He's in his emo phase.
Good man, better hair.
That shit was so funny. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I started cracking up. I don't really have good phone service right now, but I was read like the one interview he gave where he's like, "Yeah, I'm in my emo phase. First, I was sad. Then I was okay. Then I was sad." No, I don't remember the exact quote, but then he goes, "I'm excited, but you can't tell because I'm not really smiling, but I'm excited."
Then all the names that came out too said Jimmy Heat World, Ball Out Boy, Heat Wentz, absolutely no one. And then it was like him, Peter Parker, and Spider-Man 3. He showed up all like that. Oh my God. Panic at the free throw.
Yeah,
Because tonight will be the night that I will ball for you.
Viewers and listeners, I'm sure many of you have seen this, but if you haven't, do yourself a favor and just Google Jimmy Butler on Media Day. You don't even have to use 2023. You could use 2022 because y'all remember when he showed up at Media Day last year.
The dreads.
Yeah.
My man he's got some style about him. Still a great player. Now Miami doesn't have shit. They lost, or
That's
I shouldn't
what I'm
say they
saying.
don't have
But
shit.
they
They still have
gutted-
Adebayo.
They pretty
They
much
lost
gutted the
Strus.
team.
They lost Vincent. They still have Hero, but he was in trade talks all year. He's going to be upset.
Lowry, I guess they got.
Lowry's old as dirt.
Yeah. But they pretty much all the guys that got them into those big wins in the postseason
They're gone.
are all
Yeah.
gone. And they got really, honestly, nothing in return for it.
Damn.
Yeah.
All for the
Fucking, like,
expectation of getting Dame. And,
yeah, Pat Riley's just going to try to make up for it by putting them all through, like, the most, like, insane workout program.
Yeah.
Possibly, like, they're all just, like, dead before the season starts.
Yeah, he's a sicko, man. But yeah, Jimmy Butler. Shout out Jimmy Butler. Just doing what he wants to do. Being in his emo phase. You seen after the Jrue Holiday trade, he was talking about tampering for some reason.
yeah.
It's like there was no tampering involved,
Yeah.
Jimmy, but you do you, man.
He got put in the league on notice that you got to look into this. Yeah, I love Jimmy Butler.
The one that got away.
One of the saddest losses of a player right there.
We would for damn sure probably. I shouldn't say for damn sure because weird things happen every season. But we definitely would have won an Eastern Conference semifinals.
Barring any injuries.
We probably would have made
got
an
past
NBA
the second
Finals
round
by
at
now.
least.
Definitely.
And here we are. We chose Ben Simmons, Brett Brown over Jimmy Butler. That's probably a Josh Harris thing, which at some point I'm going to unleash a Josh Harris rant, but maybe not today. We can focus on, unless you got anything else on the
Yeah.
Sixers.
So
We can
speaking of
focus
Josh
on the other
Harris, at least
Josh Harris
we
team.
Yeah, we beat his Commanders.
Yo, was he in the booth?
I don't know. I didn't see.
They didn't pan out to that. I didn't see that. I saw Donna Kelsey was in the building with Jake from State
Yeah,
Farm.
what the hell is that
I
all
don't-
about?
I love it. Yeah, it goes from like she's hanging out with Taylor Swift at Chiefs game, and then the Eagles is Jake from State
Which
Farm.
is really Patrick Mahomes' boy because he's in all the State Farm
he's a-
commercials.
yeah.
It has nothing
Yeah.
to do with it. He's got Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, but he's in the Philly. I don't know.
Maybe he was doing a shoot in Philly. That's
No.
the only thing I could think of.
Anyway,
Or maybe
so
he's
they
one
were
of them.
there. She was there, and then she hopped on a flight. Well, I guess maybe just drove to New
Yeah,
York.
to New York, yeah.
But super bomb. Good to see her in there. But yeah, they squeaked out an ugly win. But I feel like watching the game, it didn't feel as close as it really was in a way. Like there were times that I felt like, oh, this is like not a big deal. And then obviously they got that last minute touchdown for Washington. But
Yo, hold up. About that last minute touchdown. You seen Ron Rivera say they didn't go for two?
Oh yeah,
Because he was like, my players were gassed, dude. That was a long-ass drive. It was a long-ass quarter.
like it's just one more play, dude.
right.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's like if you think that your players are tired, what do you think the defense?
Right.
defense is
Right.
probably
They were
tired,
getting
too.
cooked all game.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. That's completely inexplicable. I mean, I don't know. It's just like I guess
Well,
if you just have really like old school, like, I mean, I feel like that's not even just like an analytics thing. That's just like you have a chance to win the game right now.
You're a 9.5
Yeah,
point
like
underdog.
Yeah, and you have like a 50-50 chance basically.
yeah, I mean, I guess his other point, I could have seen that where, like, okay, you did that long drive, you come away, you tie it at least, and you hope you get possession on the overtime flip, which they
did.
But then they just went 3 and out.
I'm not gonna lie, I was shitting a brick. I was like, man, this is
I was very
this is
concerned
it,
that
'cause
they
they couldn't
coin
stop
toss.
that third, fourth quarter. It was like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
granted,
ugly.
we still got 5 sacks on him, but like the secondary looked like shit. And it's Sam Howell or whoever the fuck he is killing us.
He had a
Like,
good game.
yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah, he was
game.
throwing dimes.
I couldn't really talk too much shit because like we never really had that big of a lead.
Yeah.
And then we did, we gave it right back. So
Yeah, what I'll say about the secondary is as good as Darius Slay is against 95% of receivers, Terry McLaurin kind of owns him.
he's
He's
took
owned
him.
him pretty much every game
Oh,
in his
yeah.
career. Terry McLaurin.
Justin Jefferson, he could do pretty well against, but McLaurin,
Yeah.
but Washington of late with Ron Rivera has given us a hard time. I mean, they were the team that broke the record, our 8-0 streak last year.
They cheated a bunch that game, but yeah.
and the ref-
they cheated again this
Not
game
trying to be
too
this
now.
guy, but the refs had a lot of
They were
Yo.
pretty
interesting
awful.
calls. And the stadium was also on, but it wasn't just me saying it. Everybody in
I don't
there
even
was-
know where to begin. The one
the
brotherly
intentional
shove,
grounding.
push, cheek sneak, whatever
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
call it, where Deron Payne's finger is literally
They're, like,
touching
under
the
the ball.
ball.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
There
Yeah.
should have just been offsetting penalty. Like,
Yep.
You shouldn't even call anything in that case. They're both
Yeah,
cheating.
just let it go.
run the
The
play.
intentional grounding.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that was wild.
And people were saying like, well, he overthrew him too much. I'm like, it looked like it was just a miss route. Like AJ Brown turned around on a button hook, and
yeah, it was clearly just like a
and
miscommunication.
Hurst thought he was
thing.
going to corner end zone, and then they throw a flag. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
was
the-
like-
horrible.
Yeah,
and then we ended up having a punt or kick it. We had to punt, I think, at that point. It was like, what are we doing
yeah,
here?
I think that took them out of field goal range.
It did.
Yeah.
So, it was an ugly game, but it did remind me, which gave me some hope, of the 2017 year where Jake Elliott
That's
had that
exactly what I
mega
was thinking. Yeah.
61-yard field goal kick, and they picked him up, and we won the game, and it was ugly, but we pulled it off. A win's a win. I'll take it. It was nice to see the passing offense come to life. But I feel like
AJ Brown.
I feel
Yeah.
like this team, like last 2 weeks, he's got 360 some yards and should be 4, but he's got 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith with a crazy ass catch.
Yeah, that catch was bonkers.
Oh,
yeah.
that was nuts. But I think that this team finds a way to win. Then when one aspect of the team is playing strong and the other one's playing poorly, they find a way to lift each other up. This was the first game the defense really shit the bed, and the offense stepped
the
up.
first half, that offense was anemic.
Yeah, but they found a way to put 31 points up on the board still. So
Eventually.
they came to life and they got their job done. But damn, we can't be doing this shit against good team. We got
See.
that stretch coming up.
See, that's what I'm going to bring up, right? Is sure, you can get down 17-7 at halftime against Washington. They're decent, but let's be honest, they're not good. They're certainly not great. They're not the Bills, the
San
Niners,
Fran, yeah.
the Cowboys, the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? Hell, they're not even the Jets. Zach Wilson looked pretty good the other night.
Yeah.
He did look, yeah. And that, speaking
He was
about
cooking.
refs,
Oh yeah, that was
It's a different
brutal.
story, but yeah, so Hurts kind of scared me. I don't know if it was all on Hurts. I think some of it was certainly the offensive play calling again. But yeah, that slow start was just rough, man. It's a division game. Crowd's amped. Players should be up for it. Coaches should be up for it. And something was just... There was a disconnect. There were certainly throws that Hurts missed. There were certainly times he bailed from the pocket when he should have stayed in there. He had guys open. But also, I don't know if the offensive play calling was great. The offensive line...
Yeah, they had a rough game.
yeah.
I'll give it to you. Washington has a good defensive front, but that offensive line performance, that first half, was just bad, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to tell. Whether it was just Hurts bailing too quickly, or if he was just getting forced out every time. But it seemed like he was just constantly getting flushed out of the
Pressure.
pocket.
I think it's a combination.
Yeah,
Certainly the first couple times he gets flushed out. So then your natural tendency, any human's going to think, okay, I've gotten flushed out a couple times. The first sight of pressure, I got to get the hell up out of here again.
yeah.
So I think then after the first couple times he's flushed out, just his default is, I'm going to look up. AJ Brown ain't open. I'm out, dude. Devontae ain't open. I'm out.
Yeah, I wish they would rely in the beginning of games to establish the run first, because the offense feeds off of hitting people first. When you're, especially with a defensive front like Washington has, you got 2 big Alabama guys in Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, and you got Chase Young back now, and Montez Sweat. You got a very formidable front four. I would love that front four, honestly, if I'm any team in the NFL. But you run the ball. It doesn't matter who's against you that way. The offensive line finds a way. Swift is averaging 6.5 yards a run. It leads
Yeah,
the
he
NFL.
still had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
It was a down game compared to his last two,
But I think that's where it has to start because, the passing hasn't quite been there yet. Second half, they turned it around, and I'm glad they did. But first half, he's throwing balls deep down the field, missing Devontae Smith twice on a wide open fly route.
Yeah.
Right in our face in the end zone. Then you got Dallas Goedert, again, pretty much MIA. Run the ball, get some dink and dunks here. Just establish the offense first because the defense was out there a lot. And it showed. By the second
played
half,
like 80-some snaps.
it was a hot day.
Yeah.
By the second half, they were done. They couldn't, shout out, though, Nicholas Morrow. Great pickup by Howie from the Bears. He had 11 tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. He crushed it. That was a career
Our
game
linebackers have been pretty service. Like, they've been beyond service.
We only
Very
had
unexpected
we only had 5 sacks that game. He had 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, on a decently mobile quarterback, he's not a super pocket passer. The guy can run a little bit, Howell. But just a sloppy kind of game in the first half, and you can't do that coming down the stretch. I get it, Hurts is like, it's all about the win. However we win, we win. However, you got to clean that shit up, man. And that's a sign of, I think Desai is a little bit ahead of where our offensive coordinator is now, the new one.
Yeah.
He still had a tough game, but, those guys are kind of tired. I mean,
you're dealing with injuries in the
Sidney
secondary.
Brown wasn't even a starter.
Right,
he wasn't even suited up, so I get that. And divisional game, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what more evidence they need to decide that it's run the ball first offense, pass later. I get it. We got all these weapons, but damn.
Or differentiate the weapons you use. Like one of my biggest concerns, and maybe this is me probably overblowing things a little bit, is you mentioned it. Dallas Goedert hasn't been involved.
Yeah.
We're pushing week 5 now.
And I get it. AJ Brown has been going off. Devontae Smith's had a couple really strong games, but make them respect every weapon on our offense. They're going to start to key in on AJ. I think Washington, to an extent, kind of keyed in on the run, certainly in the second half. Give it to Dallas Goedert, man. He's the kind of player you don't really need to run these seam routes, or you don't need to run these
He's
four
not Kelsey,
verts.
he's not Gronk.
Yeah.
He's just a reliable
run him a tight end screen, run him out there in the flat, run him on a curl route or a comeback. Just let him do some stuff after the catch. He doesn't need a complex play called for him. Give him the ball, keep the defense honest, plus a tight end. Once you get him involved in the passing game, they start keying on him. Then you keep him in the block.
Right.
Then you start running the ball down the throat. But we're just not seeing it. This, I forget where I saw this, but the Eagles ran 11 personnel, which is 3 receivers, a tight end, and a running back, 89%.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw it was the
time.
most in the Sirianni era.
Get some more tight ends involved. Dallas Goedert, Jack Stoll, get them both on the field. That's going to be, those are better for personnel groupings to run out of. And
based
at the same
off what
time,
the offense is already built for.
They still have to respect your passing game, and that gives you opportunities to get Goddard involved elsewhere. But I don't know, man. I've been saying we needed to do the more 12 and 13 personnel for at least 2, or if not 3 out of the last 4 weeks, and we haven't fucking done it.
Yeah. The other thing that seems to be a big difference between the offense last year and this year so far is the design runs for Jalen just aren't really there this year. I don't know if that's just that they don't want him be taking hits as much, but that seems that was a huge weapon for us last year. And it was, even even if they weren't designed runs and he's just kind of scrambling or whatever, this game, I feel like there were so many times where he just gets 1 yard and slides, and it's on the one hand, I don't want our franchise quarterback getting his ass beat, taking hits and stuff, but I also feel that's really taking a big key thing away from the offense that made it so successful last year. Yeah,
and I don't know if that's because people haven't seen, last year they didn't see that side of Hurts at all, so they didn't know how to prepare for that. Now there's a lot of QB spies right now where people are you have a DN dropping back a little bit to hesitate to go.
A lot of teams are keeping safeties and whatnot back there.
Yeah, so I think that's an aspect of it, but I agree where he doesn't look, I don't know if it's the play design or if he's in his head, but he's not running with the same confidence, I'll say, when he does decide to run the ball, where I feel you're looking down the field, I get that, but I think that could be play call, but you got the power, you got the run speed, you got the legs for it, you're a tough guy. You don't do it in a lot, so you should be able to run with confidence. And I think he is, I won't say scared, but there is a sense of hesitation when he takes off with the ball as opposed to last year where he was getting a first. Every time it was 3rd and 8, it was like a guaranteed money where he would just run for the first down.
Yeah, I think part of it, didn't he have some sort of ankle surgery? He had like...
Maybe he had to clean up
know.
something, but it wasn't like a broken thing.
Okay, so
yeah, it wasn't anything major like that. But he still got the thing that I wanted to see at least is that the passing game came to life. He had no turnovers. He had 300+ yards, 2 touchdowns. He played a phenomenal game. Can't ask for more.
Yeah, he bounced back in the second half for sure.
Which was fine. I'll take that. But I feel like we're still waiting for that game to be like, there's like
that Vikings game
38
last year.
to 10 win that we have where it's cool where the team can blow it out. But we haven't quite really done that yet. So the Rams are going to be tough. I don't know if they can do it against them, but the Rams are kind of a 50-50 team. Who are you going to get? You're going to get the Aaron Donald playing a good game and then Sam, what's it called? Matthew Stafford with Nakua having a lights out game too.
Cooper Kupp could be, I think he's supposed to be back this week too.
So it's a tough thing to play that way.
Yeah, I guess we can shift our attention to that game. Kind of starting with Cam Jurgens out multiple weeks with a foot sprain.
Yeah.
You're going against...
in the worst possible time.
Yeah, you're going against the best defensive tackle probably in the last 30 years in Aaron Donald, and you don't have your starting right guard. I'm a little nervous about that.
Run the ball. I think that's a big sign that you don't want Hurts holding the ball a lot. If you're worried about him running and getting hurt, Donald's going to be pinning his ear back right now.
Yeah, this is a game to run to the ball to the outside. Run to the outside.
Just avoid Aaron
outside
Donald.
zones and shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And this team has, all the games that they win, they hold the ball the longest time. And I think Washington, for a while, we were doing okay, but Aaron Donald ain't nothing to be messing around with.
Yeah, this is a game you run to the outside. If you're going to revitalize the quarterback run game, this is where you run some zone reads and read options to get Hurts on the edge and really sort of just make Aaron Donald, the rest of that D-line, freeze just long enough that they have to think about it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more RPOs just because those don't require a whole lot of blocking. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of just make Aaron Donald think long enough, then you throw that ball over him or just hand it off to the running back to go by him. But I'm nervous about this game. When we had our win-loss preview back in whenever the schedule came out, Trevor, you called this a loss.
Yeah.
I called it a win. I don't feel too confident about that anymore, just because the Rams can put up some points now, too. And our defense coming off whatever the hell you want to call Sunday, I'm not super optimistic.
Well, it should be a bounce-back game for the D, but I still pick it a W. But yeah, well, now you'll see those multiple tight end sets you would think to give more support.
I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be chipping. Like, they'll put Donald on the end sometimes when they do that, or you think they're going to do that. You got to chip with a tight end or a running back every time, dude. You got to shift the protections towards him more often than not, and then you got to chip on the edge just to make sure it hurts his time. We'll probably see a lot more max protections, things like that, some 2 and 3 man route progressions, just to make sure that you can protect Hurts. But defensively, man, Puka Nacua, that guy's a baller. Anyone that has him in fantasy, y'all have him in fantasy?
No. I do in one league.
He's a baller.
Yeah, I do have him in one league.
And they get cut back, and Stafford's been slinging it still.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by their O-line. They don't really have a run game either.
Kyron Williams is all right now.
Yeah, he's all right.
I have him in fantasy in our league. He put up 28 points the other day.
I understand that, but they haven't really played again. They're an interesting team. I'll give them that. I'm not really necessarily scared of them at all in that sense. I think our defense has a bounce-back game. It was a tough game. Divisional rivalry. Washington's going to play their heart out. The Rams are a different team that way. We are away, so it's a little bit different in that sense. But I think that this is a good chance for the Eagles to have a bounce-back game, even though they're not bouncing back off a loss, just to be like, hey, let's put some qualms here to rest. Let's really get some things honed in, and see how it goes. I get it that San Fran's offense could be explosive in that sense, and you don't really know what they're going to be. Their defense, besides their front, isn't really anything to be too scared about.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have any Ramsey anymore. They don't there's no real linebackers in there anymore. I mean, it's our chance to be it could be a shootout.
I think it is it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Could be that.
Yeah, I think both offenses going to put up some points. It's just a matter of how much we can get out of our offense without Aaron Donald wrecking the game. That guy is horrifying, man.
You'd like to see them Rashad Penny if he's healthy to play for that, because you would rather use him as a chip blocker than Swift is not.
Yeah.
He ain't the guy to be doing that.
Yeah, he's small.
Yeah. His dad, on the other hand, he could lay a
Yeah,
chip block.
Yeah, his dad's brolic as
He's
shit.
an
dude.
absolute fucking unit. It's good to know that if his son goes down, hopefully we can suit him up, put him in there. It's like
His
Jerome
dad's-
Bettis.
His dad's an OG. But yeah, I mean, I still think we win this game for sure, but not super optimistic, and I think it is going to be a shootout. If we're calling score predictions right now, I'm saying we win 36-31.
I haven't really thought about this, but let's go.
What is the line on this game?
Yeah, actually, I would be interested. In
I want to say last time I checked, it was Eagles -4.5, but that was
See, it had to
I
be-
would have said like
think
3.5.
Sunday.
I was gonna say it's got to be closer than at least
Do
the
I have
last
enough
couple
service?
weeks. We've had 7, 8, like
Let's see. Do I have service? Come on. Week 5. Yeah, it's Eagles -4.5. The over/under is 50.5. Damn,
Oh, yeah.
they are calling for a high-scoring
Mhm.
game. Yeah, I'll stand by my 36-31. I think we cover, but I think this is a close-ass game.
Yeah, I'll say I'll go with 35-27
35-27.
Eagles.
I'm gonna say 28-24.
Okay.
Yeah, I think first quarter we go down 10, and then we come back
In the
up a
first
little.
quarter,
Yeah.
they put up to a 10 spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see him doing a little weird shit, but then us coming
Yeah,
back.
Sean
and doing it.
McVay, he's good for a couple weird things schematically, especially early in the game.
We have a new defensive coordinator, although I don't know if Seattle played them last year, but that would be beneficial to look up and see, because
Seattle would have played them. They're in the same division.
then, that kind of
Yeah, maybe
in our favor a little bit that way defensively.
I guess I would be curious. We'd have to look at it. We probably should have looked at it before this pod, but I'd be curious what Desai's defenses have done historically against McVay offenses. Maybe we could have gone off that, but whatever.
Yeah. We'll get back to you on that one. We'll let you know next week after we see the game.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
be like, wow,
Yeah.
look at that. He was a genius. He
Yeah.
used his last notes about that. But all in all, you predicted a win or a loss. You said what?
When we initially
Okay.
called the
Yeah,
schedule,
our
our
initial
preseason
call, yeah.
predictions, I said loss.
Yeah.
So I win either way,
Yeah.
basically.
When they're 4-0,
unless it's like unless it's like 13-10 or some shit. But
it could also be a
yeah,
just ugly game, but we haven't quite seen that yet. Knock on wood, which is nice. So
yeah, there's less like uncharacteristic like downpours in LA
Oh,
that
yeah.
weekend or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just like
I would rather see
Snowing.
an earthquake. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
rather see even if it came down close. If it came out to a shootout, though, I trust our kicker all day anyway. Jake Elliott's got
Yeah,
that fucking
our-
DOS boot.
our Mule Lake son, man.
Mhm.
So I said this on the pod, I guess 2 pods ago. I think he's a borderline Hall of Fame kicker. I think I might just start to call him a Hall of Fame kicker, man. He's had
Yeah.
some clutch-ass kicks in his
Mhm.
career. You mentioned the one against the Giants.
Yep.
Obviously the one in Super Bowl 52 to put us up 8.
yeah,
This one the other day, a 54-yard boot. That one to send us to the one to clinch us home field in 2017 against the Raiders when it was like 5 degrees. Like, he's had some clutch kicks,
Even
man.
the one against Atlanta, it was cold as shit out. It was only a 15-10 game or whatever. it
Yeah,
ended up being.
yep.
I mean, that was half our offense right there.
yeah.
I got a lot of love for Dave Akers. I think Jake Elliott's the best kicker in Eagles history, and he'll probably go down. I'm calling it now. One of the best kickers in NFL history.
Probably.
I mean,
And
right
they'll-
now, outside of Justin Tucker, who would you rather have?
No one.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Somebody
I think
said
like all because Caleb Sturgis got injured
Yeah.
7 years ago.
He
thank
was
God. I mean,
ass.
not thank God, but yeah, that's good for us.
Yeah, fucking.
Someone
what was
said
it? Bengals practice squad. Is that
Yeah.
where he signed,
Yeah,
Jake Hurts?
they drafted him in the 5th round, so they saw his potential.
Yeah,
They just didn't rock with him.
yeah.
Yeah,
An NFL scout picked him up because they heard him kicking a ball, and they were like, what the hell was that? Just the sound of his foot hitting the ball with so much strength. But someone said that he kicked the field goal, and I think you could see it if you rewind the tape, too, from last Sunday. He kicked that ball actually with his 3rd leg. That was pretty impressive, too.
What do you mean? He was just erect and just walked up? And
walked up there. That was it. Yeah. So his range is elevated a little bit, to be honest with you.
Damn, how you drafted a guy with a strong third, or not drafted, picked up a guy with a strong third leg. I do think, like when all's said and done, this is going to be one of the best moves of Howie's tenure. I'm trying to think of moves that were better. Certainly drafting Hurts.
Well, I think in recent years, if the last couple have been phenomenal for him, but I think no one expects like the kicker to be your big move, but that was an under the radar move that for sure has given us, no pun, a leg up.
I mean, we don't win the Super Bowl without Jake Elliott.
No, we don't.
We don't win that Giants game. We potentially don't clinch home field.
And think about the momentum shift too in those games, where like the team is all on edge, everybody's like waiting around, and he's it gives you that little spark to like, okay, let's not ever let it get this close. Thank God that he's here.
In that game Sunday, like there was no doubt in my mind he's making that kick.
Oh, I was it was
like I wasn't worried at all. It was obviously like you're nervous just because it's like the end of the game or whatever, but it's like no part of me thought that was not going to go through.
Yeah, he's the man.
I mean, he's hit 255. He's only the second
the
kicker or
61-yarder earlier this year.
55 and 61 in New England in a rainy day. Only the third guy besides Tucker and Janikowski to do that. That's some Hall of Fame level shit right there. But I never feel. I mean, I'm always confident he goes up there to kick a field goal. It looks great.
Yeah, he's the man. Shout out Jake Elliott. Shout out Chicken Little.
I was going to say, Devontae said about Chicken Little. He said, as soon as I caught that ball, I knew Chicken Little was going to hit that. And they were like, who's that? He was like, Chicken Little. You ever seen that movie?
He's like, that's what Chicken Little do.
Yeah, apparently Jake Elliott is not down with the Chicken Little.
I think it's unfortunately going to stick, though.
Yeah, once someone like Devontae says that, it's staying.
Yeah, I might have to get a Jake
Sorry,
Elliott.
Jake.
I might have to get a Jake Elliott Kelly green jersey.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's saying something. If people are going to buy a kicker's jersey, like
it'll probably be
that
cheap.
means you're the man.
There was a good amount of Akers jerseys back in the day, though.
Akers was the god.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, he had that little like that was. I never saw a kicker that had like a song whenever he hit a field goal. That wasn't the Eagles fireworks.
Yeah, we got to get Jake Elliott one.
Mm-hmm.
Does Chicken Little have a song?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I don't know.
I'm sure he probably does. All right, we got anything else? We got Phillies coming up, yo.
Yeah, we got about 20 minutes for first pitch.
I like it.
Yo, hold up, shout out. Well, not shout out. This girl, she kind of she didn't ruin my Sunday. Spilling that slushy on my pants. My white Adidas is still all brown, even though I washed it.
What kind of slushy? Was it a Coke slushy?
It was some sort of liquor slushy.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
my jersey was all sticky.
Damn, where were you at?
We were at that beer garden up on like Moyamensing and Reed. Which was like, it was kind of fun to watch the game with it like being nice outside and stuff. But
it was way too crowded.
Logistically, kind of a nightmare because like the TV in the inside is like hooked up to cable as far as I can tell, and then the TVs that they have outside are like streaming.
No, that's
so they're all like
a little delayed.
Yeah, well, it was fine for a while, and then like maybe halfway through the game, like
one of them went out.
One of them like lagged for a minute, and then so now like they're all just completely off. So it's like the people sitting to our left are ahead of us, and then the TV on the inside the place is ahead of them. So it was kind of a nightmare. By the end of it, we're all just like have our face against the window, looking at the TV inside. Like,
yeah, that was a mess.
Because you hate when you wait for that field goal to go through, and then you hear like, yeah, you're like,
yep.
damn it.
Yeah, I remember
when
when that shit got spilled on you. I remember you like went inside to get like a paper towel or something, and like I was in line to get another beer or whatever. I looked behind and like I didn't know what it like.
You thought I pooped myself?
No, I thought it was like the biggest bird in Philadelphia just shit all over Avery. Like, what the fuck is that?
That was that eagle that was flying around. He got out of the stadium. Shit all over.
It was the emotional support alligator, dude.
Yeah, the emotional support alligator.
So how these alligators poop? Well, explosively. Yeah.
Yeah, with a force and a vengeance.
With the force of a full-grown alligator.
But yeah, to that girl, you're very lucky the Eagles won, and that I was in a happy mood.
What does that mean?
You're lucky, whoever you are.
Hey, I wouldn't have done anything. I would have just been very unhappy with you.
You're lucky you didn't have to witness Avery being very unhappy.
Yeah, you're lucky I wasn't just cranky the whole time.
Yeah, I would have been cranky. But then, you know what made up for it? I was talking about getting the Wawa pizza.
Yeah.
I did not get the Wawa pizza.
Oh.
You know what I got, though? Listeners of the Hoagie Crawl episode will remember we talked about the Indian cheesesteak.
Sicily, too.
Mhm.
Little Sicily, too.
Little Sicily, too. Right next to the Wawa on Delaware Avenue. I went there and got the Indian-style pizza. Banging.
Slamming?
What else on it?
A bunch of different stuff. Jalapenos. I got it with paneer, which is like that Indian style cubed mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
Cilantro, tomatoes, curry, masala. There's a little cumin. I tasted in my burp right now. I'm still eating a leftover pizza. And I think there's actual pizza cheese.
To hold
mozzarella
it all together.
Parmesan.
Yeah.
Yo, it is banging. It's got
I
some
gotta get that.
kick
That
to
sounds
it.
good.
Yeah, shout out Little Sicily too. Looking for that sponsorship, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's just going to about do it for us here tonight. Go Phils. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Said.
Go
Sad.
Titans.